Welcome to the Penn Vet Class of 2022 White Coat Ceremony. My name is Nate Fanzone, and I'll be your MC. No matter where you are right now, I'm so grateful that you're here, tuned in, to be a part of this amazing milestone for these students. We'll start tonight by hearing from a few speakers, and then we'll get to watch our students don their white coats. There may even be a few surprises sprinkled throughout tonight's program. But up first, I want to welcome to the stage a person who has made a big impact in a short time at Penn Vet, our Dean of Veterinary Medicine, Andy Hoffman.
Thank you, President Fanzone, Nathan. Hey, V22, unbelievable, incredible. We're at the White Coat Ceremony. You're almost 2.5 years in, and you have nearly all preclinical education in the rearview mirror. Remember all that stuff? Don't worry, we all forget it, a lot of it, but the clinical year will allow you to retrieve it and pull it together in a way that makes clinical sense. A little history about the white coat. Until the end of the 19th century, physicians or nurses or healthcare workers' professional garb mirrored the fashion of clergy of the time, dark and somber, to reflect that prayer and fatalism overshadowed confidence and hope for many patients of those days. Take the 1918 pandemic, for example. That was a bad time. Oh, that was meant to be a symbolic reflection on an archaic public health scenario, but yet here we are. Okay, I digress. Back to the white coat. One of the first images to show medical professionals in white coats was the painting entitled The Agnew Clinic. It was finished in 1889 by Thomas Eakin. It depicted the University of Pennsylvania Surgical Theater, an awkward scene where medical students dressed in black looked on as surgeons in white performed some procedure on a woman's torso, let's say. In fact, the painting can be found less than 5 minutes walk away from Penn Vet in the John Morgan Building atrium. The point being is surgeons started wearing white. The advent of Joseph Lister's era of antisepsis and the burgeoning field of microbiology, including the discovery of cholera by Joseph Snow in the late 19th century, would embolden the use of the white coat as a symbol of hope. The discovery of the antimicrobial effects of penicillin in vivo by Howard Florey and Ernst Kuhn of Oxford University fueled that hope in 1941. White coats were in. At Penn Vet, flocks of veterinary students are seen in archive photos around 1908 in the quadrangle, adorned in eggshell white coats and pants. Yes, they were real posers at that time as well, as you can see it from the photographs. They ushered in a new era of public health and medical practice in veterinary medicine, an era where veterinarians are trained in hygienic protocols to operate in a sterile field and to avoid spreading contagions between patients. Do no harm was now expressed by wearing a white coat, and today's healthcare workers continue to protect each other in this fashion. Undoubtedly, iconic images of the pandemic will include healthcare workers, including veterinarians, in their white coat caring for patients. At Penn Vet, where faculty developed the specialties of cardiology, neurology, ophthalmology, oncology, anesthesiology, emergency and critical care, and the fields of equine orthopedic surgery, donning a white coat at Penn is an expression of our undying commitment to excellence, to innovation, inclusion, and impact in veterinary medicine. These days, of course, not all vets wear white coats. White is hard to keep clean on the day that you wear it. People don't wear it in field practice. Data in the field of psychology supports the notion that white can make some humans, our clients, slightly uncomfortable or anxious versus wearing lab coats with some color. Having recently had surgery on my shoulder, I agree. Blue, pink, and green or rainbow colors were less threatening and served up happiness and hope. Whatever color that you choose to wear when you leave Penn Vet, the coat will be perceived as a beacon of knowledge and compassion, their trust in you, and super duper credentials. White coat is earned, of course. In a pandemic, V22 has doubly earned its rite of passage. Your journey is like no other. You were transported right in the middle of a pandemic into the middle of your education. You've done amazingly well, and we're really impressed. And we thank you so much for your participation in everything that you've had to go through. This journey will soon take you to the clinic, which is awesome. The clinical work that we do is like no other profession. We are trained to observe, understand, and intervene in the lives of animals and people, our clients. Don't you forget it. That is truly special. The veterinary client-patient relationship is defined by the AVMA, by a set of expectations. You're assuming responsibility for care, personal knowledge of the client and animal, providing access to care, both emergency and other, providing oversight for care, and maintaining proper records. During your clinical year, you will be tasked with learning these skills and standards en route to graduation. Your colleagues and clients expect nothing less of you if you're in a white coat. Furthermore, you recognize that the VCPR adds a whole new layer of fantastically complex relationships and behaviors that you will need to navigate. The pandemic days have made the VCPR a challenge. Laughter and smiles, trembling and tears, hide behind a mask and goggles. We interpret the body language of our clients while they're in their cars. But we have persevered by using our strengths, the power of senses. You have all worked tirelessly for 2.5 years to earn your place in this ceremony. Unlike your colleagues at schools that hand out the white coat in the first year, your coat will be clean and not gross from anatomy. Furthermore, the coat and various accessories that you may carry with it, ranging from the stethoscope, name tag, reflex hammer, formularies, calculators, smartphones, hand sanitizer, wipes, breath mints, human snacks, dog snacks, latex gloves, earbuds, fear-free pheromones, sticky notes, prescription pads, our own prescriptions, radiation badges, a protractor, swabs, Fitbits, bandage scissors, pens, fresh syringes and needles, and, depending on your rotation, a few handkerchiefs. That coat connects you to each other like never before. Especially now, in this year, you will find yourself developing into doctors, and you will witness things, a spiritual metamorphosis, a magical transfiguration, if you're into Potter, of your classmates into doctors. Which this adds to the excitement leading up to the big launch in 2022. There's nowhere to go but up from here. The best year is upon you, a time when concepts come together and a new level of confidence, resilience, teamwork, experience, and grit is achieved. Everyone, I know everyone in this virtual ceremony today, and those who could not attend when this went live, wish you the best, and we offer you our support throughout your career, in your endeavors as healthcare workers, healthcare teams, as a class, as individuals in search of your unique career identity, dignity, and a sense of success within the veterinary profession. Learn from each other. Be different. Accept yourself. Get out of your comfort zone. Celebrate small triumphs. And keep your head up. You have made it this far, so let the spirit of all those VMDs that came before you propel you to the finish line. Mainly, wear your new coat with pride, do good things, and enjoy the ride. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thanks so much, Dean Hoffman. I'm sure this has been an extremely difficult time to lead an educational institution, a time when many people forget how much goes on behind the scenes. Seeing your engagement during meetings and your willingness to listen, respond, and act on behalf of students, I wanted you to know it doesn't go unnoticed. These next two speakers represent the two campuses of Penn Vet, our Philadelphia campus and our new Bolton Center campus. These speakers were picked by the student body, and I'm sure you'll see why. First up, representing our Philadelphia campus, is a person who has won countless teaching awards. He's best known for teaching one of the most difficult courses at Penn Vet, parasitology. This professor has a unique and engaging way of lecturing that's almost like storytelling, and his compassion and mentorship to students has made a lasting impact. Please welcome Dr. James Sparky Locke.
Well, hello, class of 22. My sincere thanks to Lindsay and Alessandro and all of you for the invitation to join in this wonderful celebration. I'm so honored that you'd think of me to help send you off into the next phase of this great adventure we call veterinary education at Penn Vet. By the way, wow, nice coats. Take a look at them. They may never be this clean again. Also, my greetings to you, family, friends, and significant others. I know that you share my pride and admiration for this remarkable group of young people we know as V22. So, class of 22, you may or may not remember a parasitology lecture I gave you a little over a year ago now. It was called Introduction to Arthropods. Now, at that point in the course, we were moving from the parasitic worms to this big group that contains all the creepy crawlies: ticks, mites, flies, fleas, lice. Kind of makes you shift around in your seat just thinking about it. Am I right? Well, in an attempt to inject a bit of humor into that transition, I invoked the old routines of Monty Python's Flying Circus, in which John Cleese announces with enthusiasm, "And now for something completely different." Well, we all know now that I kind of lied, because what ensued was, at the end of the day, just more parasitology. Maybe focusing on things that get on our patients rather than in them, but really just a whole bunch more parasites. In preparing for this evening, I was thinking, though, that on this occasion, I could really use Cleese's "and now for something completely different" in complete earnest. Tonight marks a transition that, next to being admitted to the school and graduating from it, might just be the most significant one. It's right and proper that we join with our colleagues, not only in veterinary schools and colleges across the country, but in schools of human medicine and allied health institutions, in marking the transition from preclinical science to hands-on and brains-on training in clinical practice by giving you your new clinical coats with a measure of ceremony, celebration, and contemplation of what has been and what's to come. As for what has been in the last 2.25 years, Penn Vet has endeavored to give you a foundation in basic and preclinical sciences that's second to none, starting with animals in health and going to animals with disease. Speaking for myself and my colleagues in the Department of Pathobiology, we do our best, mostly in second year, to send you into clinics with a firm knowledge base in the causes, mechanisms, manifestations, and diagnosis of disease. Believe me when I say that we know what a challenge second year is. The volume and complexity of new knowledge that we ask you to take on in that year is enormous. I'll always remember your class as one that managed it with poise, professionalism, fortitude, and above all, success. Now, I think all Penn Vet students have these qualities, but not all Penn Vet students have had to bring them to bear in the midst of a deadly pandemic. And for that reason, my admiration for you gets mixed with awe and wonder at how you've managed to hold it together. On account of this, I'm more sure than ever that you're going to carry those strengths and qualities which have been put to an extraordinary test into clinics, and that you're going to prosper on account of them. Now, about that knowledge base. I know what some of you are thinking out there. What knowledge base? I forgot it all after every exam. Now, to the extent that's true, I would say you aren't giving yourselves enough credit. I thought exactly the same thing about my course curriculum in the PhD program at Cornell about 100 years ago now. But you know, the happy circumstance for me was that the knowledge I'd mastered for all those exams wasn't really gone. In most cases, it was there, waiting for real-life situations that called on me to bring it back, perhaps with a little refreshing, and apply it to real problems. I know you are going to have many of these revelations over the next 1.5 years and throughout your careers, and that you'll realize that the latent knowledge that gets called on in that way becomes a permanent part of you. You're going to be fine. So we're not here just to reminisce. Tonight's about looking forward to all the good things that are going to happen between now and when you graduate. Not having gone through the crucible of veterinary school myself, I can't cite you chapter and verse about what's to come. But my 40 years at the school have taught me volumes about the dedication of the faculty, staff, and house officers who are going to be mentoring you in your clinical rotations. In short, they're just the best, plain and simple. The majority of these people have been exactly where you are now, some of them not so very long ago, and I believe that they're dedicated to giving you the benefit of their hindsight and their foresight. A much wiser professor than I, Dr. Ray Sweeney, once said of entering large animal clinical rotations that it can be pretty bracing to confront a sick cow for the very first time, only to find that there isn't a set of multiple choice alternatives as to the diagnosis printed on its flanks. That's just the kind of insight and empathy that's there among our faculty waiting for you. So class of 22, thank you again for the honor of being with you on this great occasion. You've come a long way to reach it. You're equipped with a great knowledge base, please believe that, to make this momentous transition at Penn Vet. Sadly, I probably won't see much of you over the next 18 months or so, but I will be there with bells on to watch you walk across that stage at the Annenberg Center in May of 22 to receive the VMD. I am so much looking forward to that day. Thank you very much.
Wow. Poise, professionalism, fortitude, resilience. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us, Dr. Locke. I'll always remember hearing you speak to us at orientation 2.5 years ago, when you said, as you did today, that you can't wait to see all of us walk across the stage at graduation. Thank you for instilling and helping to maintain that confidence within us. Next up is a speaker representing the New Bolton Center campus. This professor, much like Dr. Locke, is a school-wide favorite, and he loves to start his lectures with a joke. This professor also doesn't use PowerPoint very much. He'd rather use the chalkboard, and often uses the entire board to get his point across. After class, you might even find this professor playing ice hockey at the ice rink up by New Bolton Center. Please help me give a warm welcome to another Penn Vet favorite, Dr. Ray Sweeney.
Greetings, class of 2022, and your friends, families, and supporters. It's such a great privilege to be a part of your white coat ceremony, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me the honor of speaking to you today. For me, the class of 2022 is particularly special, as you are my 40th reunion year class. Yes, 40 years ago, I was where you are today, anticipating the end of core, the upcoming large and small animal blocks, and the start of clinics. You and I will always be unified by the digit 2 at the end of our class numerals, so we will always celebrate our class reunions together. When you return to Alumni Day for your 5th reunion, I'll be here to welcome you, celebrating my 45th. Now, we didn't have a white coat ceremony 40 years ago. The white coat ceremony is a relatively new and nice tradition, but we did have something that you don't have: white pants. Yes, in addition to white coats, we were issued white pants, which we were required to wear every day on small animal clinics. We honestly looked more like good humor truck drivers and veterinary students. And the worst part is that we were required to wear those white pants even after Labor Day, which I now understand from my daughter is a major fashion faux pas. But now we do have this great white coat ceremony tradition, and I'm here to represent the clinicians who eagerly await your donning your white coats and joining the patient care team in our hospitals. As you know, this year from March to June, we were unable to have students in our hospitals, and I can tell you that the return of students to the clinics this summer gave a huge lift to the morale of our clinical staff. After all, what is a teaching hospital without students to teach? So rest assured, your entrance into the clinics, whether it's in January, March, or May, is eagerly awaited with equal anticipation and enthusiasm. You are a fantastic class, talented, dedicated, well-prepared, and resilient. And fear not, you are going to be awesome in clinics. Now, this, of course, is meant to be a serious occasion, but I would be remiss if I did not at least try to inject a small amount of levity. After all, my motto is, you're only young once, but you can be immature forever. So I would like to take these last few minutes to share with you 8 quotes from the famous baseball player Yogi Berra, who was known for his misuse of the English language with twisted phrases that actually contain words of wisdom. Many of his quotes can easily apply to your upcoming time in the clinic, so take heed. For example, number 1, Yogi's wife said to him, "Yogi, you were born in St. Louis, you played baseball in New York, and you live in New Jersey. When you die, where do you want to be buried? His response, I don't know, surprise me. Your fourth year is going to be full of surprises. An unexpected specialty might pique your interest, or even a different species than you originally intended to pursue. Keep an open mind. There are so many varied opportunities in this profession, and who knows where they might lead you. When referring to the afternoon shadows in the left field of Yankee Stadium, Yogi said, "It gets late early out there." This also is going to apply to your fourth year. It is going to whiz by, and it's going to get late early. I like to say that the days are long, but the year is short. In the blink of an eye, you're going to be applying for jobs or internships, studying for boards. And you'll suddenly look around and realize you're not that wide-eyed green rookie in the clinics anymore, but the seasoned veteran. And before you know it, you'll be marching across the stage at commencement on the 40th anniversary of my graduation. Enjoy every minute of this short ride while it lasts. When asked about his favorite nightclub in New York, Yogi said, "Nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded." I don't think this was meant to be a comment on indoor dining and physical distancing, but you can take to heart the idea that you don't need to follow the crowd. It may be crowded when you arrive at your destination if you do. Don't be afraid to try something different and distinguish yourself from the crowd. After his playing days, Yogi became a coach and manager. At the start of spring training practice, he told his players, pair up in threes. The buddy system also applies to working in the clinics. You'll find that if you're going to survive, you'll need to lean on each other. Try to be that student that is always offering to lend a hand to a classmate, whether it's doing a treatment, restraining a patient, or even just sharing a snack. Which brings me to the next quote. When asked if he wanted his pizza cut into 4 slices or 8, Yogi replied, "You better make it 4. I am not hungry enough to eat 8. So there's more practical advice. You're going to be working some long hours, and that horse with colic that arrives on Saturday night is not going to have a pizza strapped to his back. So make sure you eat when you get the chance and keep a cache of snacks for a quick boost when you need it, and maybe share one with one of your classmates." Here's more practical advice. Yogi said, "Every day I take a 2-hour nap from 1 to 4. Sleep is a fundamental need. Sleep when you get the chance, and don't be afraid to speak up if you need to get some sleep." Yogi said, "If the world were perfect, it wouldn't be." If this pandemic has taught us anything, it's that hardship brings us an appreciation for all the good things in life that at one time we may have taken for granted. I hope that you can each find a silver lining out of the current situation, and that you will have a newfound appreciation for the little things that make life good that you are missing now. So there's a lot of unsolicited advice from Yogi. Work hard, eat, sleep, take care of yourself and your classmates, and learn to appreciate all of your opportunities that await you in this profession. Now, if you've been keeping score at home, that was only 7 quotes, and I promised you 8. So here it is. Yogi said, "The future ain't what it used to be." I guess it's pretty hard to argue with that logic, but based on what I have seen from your class, I believe that the future is very bright indeed for the class of 22, and that because of your talent, hard work, and dedication, the future of our profession, thanks to the class of 2022, is indeed very bright. Once again, let me thank you all for the honor of participating in this ceremony, and on behalf of all the faculty, I congratulate you on finishing core and welcome you to the clinics and wish you all the best for the coming year. You are going to be great. Congratulations, class of 2022.
Thank you, Dr. Sweeney. You always had a knack for delivering sound advice in an entertaining way, and today was no different. And you all heard it from him. The hospitals are anxiously awaiting our arrival. I'm sure everyone at home is just as excited to get the ball rolling on some in-person, hands-on experiences. So now it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. Time to see our students put on their fancy new white coats. These students have been through a whole lot to get these coats. They've also gone above and beyond to ensure that these video clips were filmed safely and in accordance with COVID regulations. And most importantly, no animals were harmed in the making of these videos, although plenty were involved. Without further ado, it's an honor to introduce the class of 2022. Kea Akiyama. Paige Albers. Alicia Amundsen. Marina Bifano. Matthew Bullinger. Lauren Buchalter. Marley Byrne. Jacqueline Camus. Julia Canino. Juliana Carruth. Caitlin Castle. Samantha Christian. Justine Cianci. Andrea Klaus. Julie Corral. Alexa Kramer. Patricia Krigler. Clara Daneman. Nick Doherty. Catherine De La Hoz. Devon DiBello. Christina Durkis. Lisa Dermashkin. Caitlin Drees. Carolyn Dunn. Rochelle Diamond. Elizabeth Edgerton. Anna Urechko. Courtney Flynn.
You Penn Vet Class of 2022. Just me, Buckley here. I wanted to give you a great big shout out and congratulate you guys on receiving your white coats. I want to wish you all the best of luck in your clinical trials in the future and know how grateful we livestock are for all of you veterinarians. And isn't that right, Ralphie? Even Ralphie agrees. You guys rock, and best of luck to all of you. Go you Penn!
Annette Fulgaris. Caitlin Fry. Lexi Gale. Rachel Garbolino. Allison Goldberg. Carly Hafer. Shannon Hamilton. Taylor Hansen. Samantha Harvey. Josiah Hendler. Sarah Hessen-Schmidt. Sabina Lavate. Thomas Hallway. Caitlin Houlihan. Devin House. Dayanara Huttenmoser. Danielle Hummel. Nicole Iakabachi. Matthew Jedlinski. Catherine Johnson. Nikki Johnson Valladares. Anna Jones. Emily Jones. Caitlin Joswiak. Kathleen Kalbian. Helen Keene. Alexandra Kalili. Brooke Kidding. Alessandro Lamacchia. Kimberly Law. Logan Law. Beth Lemon.
Hi, my name is Tiana, and this here is Fiesta the Llama, and we want to say to the Penn class of 2022, congrats so much on getting your white coat. This here is Fiesta, and right now she is growing out her brown coat. So you guys could say that she's getting her brown coat and you guys are getting your white coats, and you both are going to look super cool.
Sabrina Leventhal. Shelby Licardello. Nicolette Lindo. Allie Lockhart. Lauren Lundahl. Alex Makasevich. Justin Maniatti. Leah Marks. Lindsay Martin. Erica Matthews. Molly-Ann Mecca. Casey Marola. Mary Metch. Elena Michelle. Melinda Mordarski. Caitlin Newcamp. Becky Ortiz. Rebecca Osborne. Lauren Helena. Isha Pandya. Natalie Phelan. Ross Pilisher. Sarah Rassler. Faz Rahman. Nicole Reuter. Sarah Rivera. Megan Rodriguez. Audrey Rollins. Allison Rooney.
Hey Penn Vet class of 2022. Fiona the Hippo just wanted to send you all a huge shout out and wish you the best of luck and a huge congratulations on receiving your white coats. So good luck beginning your clinical rotations next year. I'm sure you're all so excited and also a little stressed and maybe anxious. But a message from Fiona always brightens everyone's day. She hopes you know how proud of you she is and everyone else in your lives.
Carrie Rugi. Jake Rive. Mireille Sakane. Robert Sander. Ashley Scarbriel. Kelsey Champeau. Anna Shirosky. Haley Siegel. Hannah Sitt. Kristen Sprayberry. Hannah Taylor. Bobby Thompson. Liz Chalakis. Caitlin Tukdarian. Anya Tyrillo. Aubrey Venna.
Congratulations, Penn Vet class of 2022 on receiving your white coats. We know you're going to do great. This is from Luna. Luna, do a jump for them. Good job. And from Paris. Spin, baby girl, spin. Show them what you can do. Good job. You're all going to do great at your clinical rotations next year and take care of amazing animals like us. Love, Paris and Luna. And
Jill Wallace. Hannah Warshawski. Molly Wart. Julia Weeder. Sarah Weinberg. Charlotte Weisberg. Nicole Wilson. Emma Kate Womack. Mary Wright. Nikki Yeager. Vicky Joe. Katie Dorff. Lindsay Evans. Lindsay Harris. Jeremy Braun.
And finally, we have our class president, Nathan Fanzone.
Pretty cool, huh? I have to say, when I was watching that, I was getting pretty emotional. This moment represents so much to me and the rest of the class. It's funny how together we can feel, despite being so far apart right now. As we continue through tonight's program, it's now time to hear from a Penn Vet alumnus. I wanted to use the virtual ceremony to our advantage, so I reached out to someone who's quite far away. The next speaker is a V93 graduate who comes to us all the way from Switzerland. She's a member of our Alumni Council. She currently works as a regional head for Novartis, and she's an author too. It's an honor to welcome, all the way from Switzerland, Dr. Marnie Platt.
Hello, Penn Vet Class of 2022. I'm Marnie Platt, a proud member of the Class of 1993 and of the Dean's Alumni Council. From me and from the whole council and all of the alumni, congratulations as you put on your white coats for the very first time, and perhaps the last time that they will be completely white. Welcome to the start of your lives as clinicians. With your white coats come opportunities and responsibilities. Veterinary medicine gives you the opportunity to change lives, the lives of your patients, their families and owners, and perhaps even of people you will never meet. When you chose to become veterinarians, you chose to live a little bit closer to that raw edge of life, and it starts now with your rotations. Whether or not you go into clinical practice after graduation, you're now entering a world of joy and pain, satisfaction, and sometimes disappointment. Embrace these emotions and experiences. Your lives will be fuller and richer for them. And because you came to Penn Vet, rest assured that you are extremely well prepared. Your white coats also signal responsibility, and not just for your patient's health or public health. Veterinary medicine is consistently voted one of the nation's most respected professions, and we all are responsible for that. Each time you put on your white coat and introduce yourself as a veterinary student, or later as a veterinarian, you carry a little bit of the rest of us with you. Your class, your school, your whole profession, just as I have done, and as I have tried to represent you, the future of the profession, since I first donned my white coat way back in 1991. Now, be open to what life offers you and your white coat. Since graduation, my classmates have not only been clinicians, but they've become researchers, practice owners, entrepreneurs, government officials, military veterinarians, and diplomats in many of the specialty colleges. I myself have worked in small animal practice, mixed practice, racetrack practice, and then left practice to work in the human and veterinary pharmaceutical industries in medical affairs, new product development, regulatory affairs, marketing, supply chain, and general management. I've lived in 4 countries and visited many, many more. And 27 years after graduation, although my white coat looks a little bit different, I am still soaping every problem that I'm faced with. So practice soaping. Practice the skill in clinics until it becomes intuitive. Whether you stay in practice or go to something else, you'll be glad that you did. Starting clinics is going to show you that book learning isn't everything, and that every patient and every day has something to teach us. That's one of the joys of our profession. Just as you look to Ray Sweeney and Sparky Locke and your other professors, look to each other and colleagues for help and support. Remember, no one of us can cure every case, but together there's something we can do for each and every one of them. Clinical life is exciting and absorbing, and rotations can suck you in like the most delightful vortex, and they should. You've been waiting your whole life for this. At the same time, remain connected to your world outside the clinic. It's the only way you're going to thrive in this lifelong pressure cooker that we call practice. Enjoy your friends, your family, and your hobbies. You're an active class. Continue participating in clubs and working with the dean, the faculty, and alumni like me to make Penn Vet even stronger. We need you, especially in these difficult times. Make the most of all of your rotations. Be open to changing your mind. You know, I came into Penn Vet knowing, as I had since the age of 5, that I would be an equine veterinarian. But then I met Bob Washabaugh, who was then part of the small animal medicine faculty, and Bob turned me on to the magic of small animal practice and all the things you could do for dogs and cats that we couldn't do for horses, and it changed my life. And you might have noticed my career has changed several times since then. Change can come at any time in your career. If it happens to you, go with it. You will be glad you did. Now, like my class, your class is overwhelmingly female, and we know that gender has no bearing on a veterinarian's abilities. But our profession still has a way to go towards true equality in the way we treat our colleagues of different ethnicities, different backgrounds, genders, religions, and orientations. That's part of our shared responsibility. You know, when I was a new veterinarian, the ABMA board was overwhelmingly male, and we didn't even get our first female president, Dr. Leninger, until 1996, 3 years after I graduated. Back in the 90s, Penn Vet was still home to Dr. Josephine Dugler, our first female graduate, a member of the class of 1938. You've probably seen her portrait hanging in Rosenthal. You might not know that Josephine was not the first female enrollee at Penn Vet. There was one other woman before her, but the men were apparently so nasty to this woman that she gave up her dream and she left. Fortunately, times have changed. My class was 65% female, and yours is even more so, and I am counting on each of you, male and female, to continue the progress that my generation and the generations before me began. Hold us accountable. Force us to have uncomfortable discussions on a range of topics. Our profession will be better for it. And now that you wear the white coat, you're responsible for that too. As you tackle the challenges of the next 2 years in your clinical rotations, remember that we, the alumni, the Dean's Alumni Council, are here as well as the faculty and staff to support you. Reach out for advice. Ask us questions. Use us as sounding boards or as places to vent. We understand because we've been there too. And I personally invite you to contact me if I can help. You can find me on LinkedIn. Nate and the alumni office have my email, and it's at the end of this video. We're all here to help you succeed. And now, as you put on your white coats, I leave you with my congratulations and my welcome into the next phase of your life as veterinarians. I look forward to seeing you grow into another class of outstanding Penn Vet graduates. Best of luck and success to you, the Penn Vet class of 2022. Clink, clink.
Thank you so much, Dr. Platt. It means a lot to us that you were able to join us from such a great distance and be a part of today's event. Our last speaker this evening will be one of our very own students. Aside from excelling in classes, she has served as a wellness chair for the school, coordinating events and resources for students which improve our overall experience. She has conducted years of research on pigs at New Bolton Center. She's an avid runner, And as most of us know by now, she's got a great sense of humor. Selected by her peers and representing the class of 2022, please welcome Kathleen Kalbian.
Hello, class of 2022, my classmates and my friends. I'm just here in the mountains, taking some time off after a stressful October. Listen to that echo. It's great to be here staring at a screen, staring at you, also staring at a screen. Something new, something different. I think traditionally this speech begins with the speaker stating what an honor it is to be standing in front of his or her peers. However, as all of you in the GroupMe chat are already aware, I resorted to some shameless self-promotion to be nominated as your speaker. Also, I am sitting. However, I will still say this is an honor because how often will I have the opportunity to address the entire class? For those of you who don't know me as well, I can assure you that I will not be walking up to the podium in May 2022 to give the valedictorian address, so the answer to that is not often. So thank you for giving me this platform on our special day. Getting these white coats hasn't been an easy road for any of us. Far from it. If you're a fan of metaphor, I would say these past 2.5 years have been roughly equivalent to biking down Spruce Street and having to pedal over the trolley tracks that have taken down so many of our classmates already. And if there's anyone out there right now thinking, that doesn't really sound like my journey, everything has been going pretty great, please contact me. I am always looking for my next eager and willing tutor. When we look back at our time at Penn Vet, there have been countless happy and fun memories. Trips to New Bolton, talent shows, wet labs, auctions, happy hours. But to be quite honest, it can sometimes be tough to remember those good times because the tough times loom so large in our memory. But that is important to me, to recognize that it hasn't been sunshine and rainbows to get to this moment. With that in mind, I want to share just a few occasions where I felt like quitting that I hope you all can relate to. The first time I drew blood from a horse and it ran away, needle still perfectly placed in the jugular vein. Who knew that you had to hold on? When I was finger deep in my cat's litter box retrieving a poop sample for parasitology lab. When Dr. Passato warned me to watch out for diarrhea as I palpated a cow, which immediately triggered the cow to begin a diarrheal cascade over my backside. When I lost my stethoscope the first time. When I lost my stethoscope the second time. A few weeks ago, when I sat staring at my cat using the litter box, contemplating how I could get a urine sample for ClinPath Lab without ruining our relationship forever. And of course, each and every biochemistry lecture. I'd like to emphasize that I chose the most comedic of my quitting moments to share, but there are plenty of tears and frantic face-down, in-bed phone calls to my mother involved as well. We have all struggled with our own unique circumstances, which makes today even more of a celebration. But of course, now that I brought you all down, let's bring things back up with a short selection of the countless times I knew that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be and am surrounded by the best people. When my incredible surgery group put in our last cruciate stitch on our first spay dog. Being told that Hannah and I had done a good job as student support chairs for the past year. Every time one of us is willing to use the words, "I don't know," and then we figure it out together. Anytime someone has a question about swine, which remains the only questions I will confidently answer out loud, for now. The MLK Day clinic, when we started out running around like crazy people, but by the end of the day, we were confidently talking with clients and not having to ask Dr. Holt a question every single trip to the back room. The first time I got dressed in fig scrubs with my name tag on my chest and my brand new third stethoscope around my neck. That's free promotion for figs, but I think Penn Vet is ready to be sponsored. Being awarded the School Spirit Award, something that I cannot emphasize enough, has never happened before in any of my endeavors. Walking into class every morning excited to see who snuck in a dog to lecture today. Learning about animal diseases that are so obscure and bizarre, only Zuku and the Navli will ever quiz us on them. Realizing during Zoom case discussions that maybe, just maybe, a couple things from the past 2 years actually sunk in and we can work through these cases. Each and every one of us has had these moments where we felt like quitting and where we felt like we're exactly where we're meant to be. It's silly to pretend you can have one without the other, because the contrast is what makes the highs feel so special and deserved. We all stand or sit today in our white coats, reflecting on those 2.5 years of challenge after challenge, lovingly interspersed with new friends, new pets, new experiences, new responsibilities, and incredibly for some of our classmates, new family members. Let's take a minute to recognize the faculty and professors who put up with our absolutely relentless emails. Don't get too excited, there's definitely still more to come. The family members and life partners who assure us at the end of a long day it's all going to work out and know, of course, we don't smell like poop. And most importantly, let's recognize how unbelievably awesome each and every one of us is. Often we must be our own biggest cheerleaders, so today let me lead the cheering. Without incredible determination, we wouldn't be here today putting on our white coats and preparing to begin clinical rotations. And so I hope that what you get from this today is that no one is alone in feeling like this has been the toughest period of their entire lives, including the teen years. Allow yourself to acknowledge when it hasn't been the best day. Those feelings are valid and warranted. But try to remember to follow that up with your own personal style of positive affirmation. After all, being a good veterinarian doesn't mean that every day is a good day. It's so much more. It's having compassion, a sense of humor, the ability to relate to other people, having a solid moral compass, and being able to learn from your mistakes. Our classroom knowledge and these coats are just the beginning. So thank you all for listening and reflecting with me on the many flavors of veterinary medicine. Since we all haven't seen each other outside of the internet since March, I think it's most appropriate to end with an email closing I received recently that really spoke to me. Pandemically yours, Kathleen.
Thank you so much, Kathleen. I couldn't agree more that vet school so far has been a whirlwind of ups and downs, and we might not win every time, but in the end we'll come out on top. And I've seen that time and time again in these students. In light of us being apart tonight, I wanted to end tonight's program with something extra special. So we invited someone to congratulate the students, and she agreed to come by and say hi. Some of you may know her as the Jungle Doc, but it's an honor to introduce to you wildlife and conservation veterinarian, Dr. Chloe Biding.
Hi everyone, my name's Chloe and I'm a wildlife vet from Australia. You might also know me through Instagram as Jungle Doctor. I'm so thrilled to be here today with you, virtually, to pass on a huge and sincere congratulations on all you have achieved to reach this point in your academic careers. Vet school is challenging at the best of times, and here you are, navigating your way through your studies while a global pandemic rages on around you. I can't imagine that it's been easy, nor can I imagine that this was the year nor the white coat ceremony that you envisaged to have. That being said, a pandemic can't take away the incredible milestone that this is for you. I remember being in your position 7 years ago now, which feels crazy to say, and little did I know that I was about to embark on the most exciting chapter of my studies. Your clinical year is an incredible time when you get to further explore all the real-world applications of everything you've so diligently learned over the past few years, while also being an opportunity to get a proper look into the profession you'll soon to be entering. While it's a fabulous time for your development as a clinician, this time you're entering into is also a wonderful opportunity to explore some of the many avenues of veterinary medicine, some of which you may have never considered. If I may offer any advice, it would be to not only keep your options open as much as possible with regard to your career path at this early stage, but to also keep your mind open to all opportunities that come your way. Speaking from experience, people's interests change and develop over time, and down the track you might find yourself in a role that you had never previously considered, yet are incredibly satisfied and fulfilled by your work. It sounds cliche, but a veterinary degree really is like a passport, and if you're willing to look, the places it can take you are endless. Ours is one of those globally respected professions that, unlike many others, comes with a diverse and unique range of skill sets that enable the holder of such a degree to leap and pivot into a range of fields and specializations. Don't be afraid to blaze your own path and go after the things that you want. And don't give in to the tendency to feel like you need to have it all figured out, or that you have to know what you want to be when you grow up, or in this case, when you graduate as a veterinarian. Things in life are rarely linear, and this is particularly true of career pathways. And remember, sometimes it's just as important to discover the fields that don't work for you as the ones that do. So, Penn Vet Class of 2022, congratulations. Enjoy your day today, and endeavour to celebrate all the achievements along the way, not just the big ones, because they're all important steps in reaching your goal that you've worked so hard to achieve. And don't be too hard on yourself either. Some days, that achievement might be as simple as resisting the overwhelming urge to throw all of your notes in the trash. I've been there. Go on to do big things. Never doubt your capabilities, because the fact that you're here and where you are today is a testament to the fact that you can achieve anything you put your mind to. We are lucky to have you in this unique, incredible and exciting profession of ours, and I look forward to working alongside you one day soon as colleagues.
Thank you so much, Chloe, for stopping by and congratulating our students. It means so much to have someone who's out there and established in the field taking the time to be here tonight for us. Before we go, there is going to be a slideshow after the presentation ends, and it includes photos and congratulation messages of Hold on. Hey, I didn't think you were going to show up tonight. Well, you're just in time. Did you want to say something to them? All right, here you go.
Hey all, Dr. Evan Anton here to wish the class of 2022 Penn Vet students all the best, because you guys are going into your 4th year, your clinical year, and that is in many ways the most exciting and intense year of your veterinary program. So, I don't know what that's going to look like in the times we're in now, but hopefully it's super hands-on and you guys get some really good clinical practice. That's obviously very important in your veterinary education and moving forward. I don't know. I don't know how it is. I mean, with how the times are, at CSU when I was in school, we did about half clinics 3rd year and then full clinics 4th year. I'm assuming it's pretty similar for you guys. And obviously Penn Vet, you're at a very good vet school, probably the 2nd best vet school behind Colorado State, of course. No, it's exciting times. I mean, my best advice for you guys is to go in there with an open mind. Make the most of every rotation. You're going to learn good stuff and things that you'll see the value in later in your careers from every single rotation you do. So just make the most of all of them. Have an open mind. If you don't know exactly what you want to do when you're graduating vet school, then now's the time to really explore that as well, because you're going to be able to get your hands dirty and get a feel for what it's like to be in different clinics and different rotations, and you can do externships and all kinds of cool stuff. What else? I just say this to, vets or soon to graduate vets, or you guys, which are just a year away. There's many different ways to go into practice. I always recommend trying to find somewhere, if you're going to be a clinical practitioner of any kind and you're going straight to that instead of doing an internship or residency, try to go somewhere that has a lot of vets there and where you're going to get some decent mentorship and some people with a little more experience to help you out, because when you graduate you're prepared to do a lot and see a lot, and you're going to be very capable veterinarians, especially graduating from Penn Vet, the Penn Vet program. But it's just nice to have that, have people with with a little bit more experience to help you with some of those cases, even some of the simple ones that you maybe gloss over relative to, say, Cushing's disease or something that you just don't have as much experience with. It's nice to have colleagues help you out clinically and, of course, in the operating room. What else? I don't know, man. I mean, you guys are going for it. You're going into your last year. I mean, doesn't it fly by? It blew my mind how fast vet school was. I mean, before you know it, you're a vet. Like, it really just feels like that. As crazy as that sounds, after all the intense tests and studying and just ridiculousness that comes with being in veterinary school, it does go by fast. For those of you that are going to an internship or wanting to do an internship, I'm wishing you guys the best of luck too. You guys have a gnarly road ahead of you. But yeah, exciting times. I'm so pumped for you guys. Make the most of this year. Take every elective, every rotation, every clinical, at campus, off campus, externships, everything. Take it super seriously. Make the most of it. And most importantly, have fun. You guys take care. Keep up the good work.
I'm so glad he called. He can be pretty hard to get a hold of sometimes. But as I was saying, to my classmates, you put in the work to be here today. So revel in this awesome moment. And to the families and friends watching, how thankful we are for you, because so many of you have provided the mentorship and support that helped us get here today. I want to actually close tonight, seriously, with a quote from the first woman ever to win a Nobel Prize, Dr. Marie Curie. Dr. Curie said, "Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less." With that, I hope you and your families are happy and healthy, and to the students and professors out there, I can't wait to see you next semester in clinics and blocks. One last thing, stick around to watch our pre-pandemic antics slideshow featuring photos and congratulatory messages for students that we're going to start playing right now. See ya.
Bye.